I have a BMW center console window switch. It works inconsistently. If you pull the fuse for the window switch circuit to make it safe, you can remove yours easily from the center console by using a small putty knife to pry up at the rear and then pull the connectors loose. You can see the part number here on the side and one of the two metal clips that hold it in place. I'm going to show you how to take this one apart and clean up the contacts so it will work once again. You'll need a few tools and supplies in order to do this. You'll need to take a small screwdriver and pry each of the 4 tangs. And then turn it over so that you're looking at the bottom side. Now you can remove the bottom housing by picking it up. Note that each of the switches have a roller assembly and contacts on both ends. These are going to be cleaned and removed as part of this procedure. Note that each switch has a roller assembly to return it to center. Don't lose the springs. Examine the metal roller contacts on the front and rear of each switch. Remove any switch that is dirty to clean the rollers. Gently pry each switch from the housing. And check each of the rollers. These look pretty good. If a roller is pitted or corroded, use some emery cloth or steel wool to clean it up. And then make sure they're clean and dry. Use alcohol or a contact cleaner to remove any residue. This is another roller switch. As you can see, it's got all sorts of black on that side and none on this side, so make sure to clean that off if you have such deposits, because that again is probably cola. Let's look at the bottom housing. Here you can see the 4 LEDs that light up the switches and the metal contacts. Notice how corroded these contacts are for the switches. The best thing to do is to clean them up with some polishing compound and a little alcohol. You might wonder how your contacts in your switch got this way. It's probably spilled coffee or tea or cola. Let's take a little polishing compound and clean one up. I think that looks a lot better. Well, I just spent about 5 minutes cleaning up the contacts with a little semichrome polish. And I think if you look at those contacts now, they look nice and clean. And should be good to put some things back together again. Now while we've got it apart, it's a good time to test the lights, although they should work. And after hooking it up to my power supply, as you can tell, they all light up. Be careful when you test the lights. Pin 3 is the negative side and pin 4 is the positive side, and since these are LEDs, polarity is important. So you can see where I hooked them up on pins 3 and 4. On the back side you can see that I hooked up the ground wire to terminal 3 and the positive to terminal 4. Now before we put things back together again, it's a good idea to take a little bulb grease and apply it to the contacts. Now that all 4 of the switches have clean rollers, let's put things back together. So we'll take the switch and put it into place, and the 2 springs into place, and the 4 rollers. Now one of the beauties of this is if your front window doesn't happen to work, you can swap the parts around to the rear window. Now that the top half housing is all assembled, let's reassemble the bottom. And in order to do this, we have to line up the 2 housing halves so that this little metal pin fits into the slot in the rear window disable switch. So we very carefully line the top and the bottom up and snap it in place. And we're all back together, ready to put back in the car. I hope this helps you out, and thanks for watching.